Welcome to the Grit and Grace podcast, where real conversations meet real growth. This is the place where we lean into life's challenges with grit and rise above them with grace. Whether you're here for encouragement, practical tools, or a reminder that you're not walking this journey alone, you're in the right place. So let's dive in.
Yep.
Hey, Christy.
What's up?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I've missed you. Hey, so let's talk about
me
what...
very much.
No.
There's not much time to
Not
miss
much
me.
time to miss. Let's talk about what we're doing post-Boston.
Yes, we are moving quickly onto something else.
We are moving quickly.
And we did it today.
Yes.
I think you enjoyed that. You had fun today.
Oh my goodness. Well, Christy and I are in a new season of working out.
Yes, we are. Since I
And
have quit
because
CG.
Christy is not an outdoor trainer anymore.
Yep.
And so she has taken me to the gym.
She does not like the
And I'm
gym,
trying
guys.
to learn to love the gym. It feels pretty dull to me. I do love being there with you, but we're running and then going to the gym. But we are about to do 2 weekends of DECA
2 weekends.
because if you don't know much about DECA, you have to qualify for Worlds. And
There's not many opportunities.
since Christy is a world champ, like we've got to get qualified. So no, there's not a lot of opportunities. And we were focused on Boston.
You are a world champion too. You did podium.
That's true. I podiumed.
Yes.
So, but anyway, we were focused on Boston.
We were
and we
focused
didn't
on
want to
Boston.
hurt our
Hurt
body.
you.
Yes. And so we are going next weekend to San Antonio with our spouses.
Yep.
And we're doing DECA Mile and DECA Strong.
Make it strong.
Solo and team.
yes.
So our husbands are our teammates
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
And so, and then the next weekend,
Got
got a
DECA
lot.
Fit.
We're going to DECA Fit in Austin.
Yep.
And get ready because we're going to do it together. And
Yep.
we're excited because
Yep.
we
And solo.
and solo and DECA Fit, we're going for gold.
You're because Flash is running all the runs.
Because I feel like it's the dream team.
It should be.
No, although it could be like a hard fall.
I know.
Because I thought that Ramsey and I, when we went to Worlds, we were just going to sweep it out of the park. And I was like, oh, this is hard. But 2 women will be easier than co-ed.
Easier than co-ed, yes.
Because those fast men.
Yes, fast men and strong on machines.
But I think we're like the dream team for DECA Fit.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah. So anyway, this morning we met at 4 a.m. and we did DECA, and I'm only 4 days out from Boston Marathon. And it was humbling because I thought that I could push my body to do whatever I wanted to. And it was hard.
Yeah.
I
We
just
ran 2 miles before, and that was hard.
Yeah. I just could tell that I was not recovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you said. It's amazing because in your mind, you're like, I'm good.
I was like, I got this.
Even your garment said you're good. But your body is like, you're stopping. It's
Yes.
stopping you. Like your heart rate
Yes.
was elevated.
I did not feel good.
You paused a few times, which is not normal for you.
Yeah.
To take a break.
Yeah.
And I was just watching you when I was riding the bike. I was like, okay, hope she's
struggling.
okay.
She's struggling. But anyway, we've got another week to
got
get
another
stronger,
week.
to not
I
get
think we'll be
stronger,
good.
to recover. Yeah.
Yeah, we got one more week. We got one more week of training for DECA, so we might be
Yeah.
spending some more time in my garage.
I think we will.
I know.
I think we will. But anyway, that's what we're doing because we always have a goal. And we're actually running another marathon, half marathon. We're going back to Grandma's. We only have 8 Saturdays.
8 weeks.
8 Saturdays.
Yes.
Until long runs. So more to come on that. We're excited because we don't have the same pressure for that. It's just going to be fun.
No, it's going to be fun.
Just trying to do- I'm just trying to
we
PR.
just have to redeem ourselves.
Yes, we have to redeem ourselves, but we always put pressure on ourselves. You know, I wasn't going to have pressure, and then I'm like, I think I'm going to do it in 3:10.
I know, exactly. Yes, she does, guys.
So anyway, today's podcast is special. I feel like it's a little bit vulnerable
Very vulnerable.
because we actually had this conversation. I feel like it might have just been over coffee, the whole timeline conversation. I don't feel like that was on a trip. Austin
No.
Marathon, maybe. I don't know when we were talking about the timeline. Oh no,
You wrote it out.
Well, actually, I do know when it was. It was the anniversary of the Thrive conference that weekend.
Yeah.
That we were sitting there at coffee talking about it.
Yes.
And I went home and wrote it out
wrote it
during my
out.
quiet time. So today we are just going to talk about the timeline of faithfulness and how our friendship and partnership was built. And some of you may be like, we don't care. And I think that's why it's vulnerable to me, is because I'm like, why would anybody want to listen to this? But we were saying this morning, that it's such a good reminder that God's hand is in every single thing we do.
Yep.
And a decision that you make, maybe you're just following the prompting of the Holy Spirit, and you do that. You never know the impact, impact on your life, the eternal impact. And so we just wanted to share with you just like a kind of bird's eye view of it, because it really is such a story of like the Lord's timing and his faithfulness. And we say this all the time. The scripture that God is able to do exceeding abundantly beyond all we ask or imagine, that God gives us stuff that we don't even know we need.
Amen. That is true. And we have seen so many times that he does truly care about the details.
Yeah.
He cares about the small details of your life. And that is something that I am so grateful for, that I can just continuously see his hand in so many things. When, I'm not praying for it. I'm not asking for something, and he is just giving. He is that father.
Yeah.
That is just being faithful.
Yeah, and all of that is part of our testimony, and all the things that add up. And so, the take home is that you don't underestimate any decision that you make.
That is true.
Because, and in the same way, a bad decision can take you down the wrong path.
Yes.
But, even though that we're practically the same person,
Pretty much.
we haven't been friends that long.
Nope.
But we've known each other a while.
We've known each other a while.
So, I've known you,
5 years?
Yeah, at least. I knew of you before that, but I started training with you online during COVID. So that would be 6 years.
Yes.
And I knew you before that just through CG, like would come to the Murph, that kind of thing. Just loose association.
Yes.
So, and then this is interesting. In 2023, I was I already training with you then? Yeah, I was already training with you, but I was already at Grace Wellness, and I sent you a text and said, hey, I would like to talk to you about something, and talk to Christy about a partnership, some kind of collaboration with Grace Wellness. It was like, I would love you, like you would be the dream team.
Yep.
And like we loosely talked about it, but that's it.
Yeah, because you had that building at your other location, and you just had so many patients that you take care of that that needs that additional help.
Yeah.
And that I could offer.
Yeah. So we had a conversation one afternoon. I can still remember sitting at my desk talking to you on the phone.
Yeah.
Because you love phone calls.
I love phone calls.
But anyway, and then I faithfully trained with you Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yes, you did.
So. And so I spoke last year. I go to Flint Baptist, and I spoke at the Thrive Conference, which is a women's conference in February. And I knew you were coming because you talked at CG about it. Yep. And so like hindsight, totally atypical for you to go to a women's conference alone. Alone. Like that takes courage. I'm still like, was that really you that did that?
I know. And I still remember, I don't remember what it was, but I feel like there was something trying to keep me from going there. I don't know if it was, it's February. I do not know, because Callie was pregnant still. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I felt like it was inconvenient.
Yeah.
And I still showed up.
Well, it probably was inconvenient because it was going to last till 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I walked in there. I share a lot. It's when I was a trainer at CG at 5 a.m. because I don't like silence. So I would just share my life. And I wanted to do something, get involved in a church, get involved with maybe some women or something. I felt like I just needed to do more. And so I did want to go, and I signed up, and I knew she was going to be there. And so that helped me attending. But I remember getting out of my vehicle by myself. Guys, I am an introvert and love being an introvert. And I remember getting out of my truck thinking, I am going to sit in the back row so I can probably exit quickly. And she sees me right away.
Literally, so talk about a divine collision, right?
Yep.
Because I was doing like the sound check in my little room where I was going to speak, and I walked out and you were sitting right in front of me.
Yep.
And I was like, hey girl, You want to sit with me?
You want to sit with me
So
in the front?
she was going to sit on the back row, and I took her to the second row.
Yep, I did.
Yeah,
Sure did.
Took her to the second row, and I introduced you to people while we were walking in.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, and so she sat there beside me, and did they do a breakout that night? You did come to my breakout that night, because it was Friday night. Was there a breakout that night, or was it the next day? There was one that night.
There was that night.
Yeah, so there was one that night. And so you came to that one that night.
That's what I came to that one that night.
And so,
Because you made me get on the stage and take a picture.
yes, we took a picture.
Yep.
That was the first picture that we took together.
Yep.
But anyway, I had been picked for, or I had made it in the lottery to the New York Half Marathon.
Yes.
And the New York Half Marathon was going to be in March. And I had known for months, and we had debated taking our whole family, and then we debated not going. And at that point, I was not going to run. I was just going to forfeit my lottery entry. And so my sister was at that breakout session, and I guess y'all started conversating, and she was like, "You're not going to go to New York, Bethany?" And I was like, "No, I don't have anybody to go with. I'm not going." And then after we left that session, I think you brought it back up, and I was like, "Unless you want to go with me."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I asked you. I was like, "You're really not going to go to New York?"
Yeah, and I was like, "No, not. Do you want to come?" And I kind of said it like half
Oh,
kidding.
yeah, 100%. And
Anyway.
I was like, and then I remember thinking, like, is she serious?
Yeah. And then we never talked about it again that night.
Not
or
that
that
night.
weekend.
Yeah.
And then, so the next morning, I text Christy. I'm like, "I'm still in the second row." Made the girl come sit by me again.
Yep, pretty much.
But that was as loose as it was.
Uh-huh.
That was it.
That was
we
it.
went to the conference. We talked like acquaintances.
Yes.
And so then that night, it was a Saturday night, I text her and said, "Are you serious? You would go to New York, or do you want to go to New York?"
I think, is that the when you sent the plane tickets?
No, I
that
said,
Sunday?
would you really want to go to New York?
Okay, yes.
And you were like, "I'm not an easy person to travel with," or something like that. And I was like, "I go to bed early, like it'll be fine, you know."
Uh-huh.
And then literally on Sunday, I bought the plane tickets.
Yeah, because you texted them to me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to New York.
With somebody I
With
don't
somebody
even
I don't know. And I like sound machines that are loud. Oh, yeah. I remember thinking that. Okay, I got this. Because I'm like, this is an opportunity for me. And
Yeah.
I knew I liked you. I knew that we were compatible and that we were similar and that you don't eat junk and that you don't drink alcohol and that you don't go out and party and that you're not a social person.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know, with someone that likes to go out late and go to places that I don't want to go to, that is just uncomfortable for me. I don't
Right.
enjoy that.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up going to New York together. It's funny because one of my my employees said something about the other day, like, "We're so thankful that you have Christy," and we still remember you being nervous about traveling with Christy because you didn't know her.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they knew I was like, "Y'all, I don't know, I'm going with kind of a stranger," and anyway, but it was so easy.
It was
so easy.
It was so easy.
And you know what's funny? I remember us talking on that trip about the fact that neither one of us needed friends.
Probably.
I remember having that conversation.
Yeah.
That like, I'm like somebody like, I'm good. I don't really need friends.
And the funny thing is, because I always think about this when we get to Love Field, is we are sitting there in March, going to New York City, and I meet my first client
Yes.
from Grace Wellness.
Y'all, that is so God. We're sitting there, Dallas Love, first trip ever.
Yep.
And I jump up and I hug a patient. And I was like, "How are you doing?" She just lost her husband.
Yep.
And sat back down and I told Christy, I was like, "Oh, that's a patient." And full circle in a few months
circle.
that we'll get to, that person that we saw at Love Field, I thought about when we were going to Boston. I think about it every time I'm there. Was Christy's first patient or first client at Grace Wellness. That is God. That is
amazing.
That is
I know.
only God.
I know.
I mean, that's like God in the details, just going, you know what? Like, I'm going to write
You just
the
don't know.
most beautiful story.
Yep.
You know? So, anyway, and then, you know, we had a good time. It was great. I still remember you dropping me off at home, and I still didn't really know if we'd be good friends. Like, it was a good trip.
It was a good trip.
It was a good
an
trip.
easy trip.
But it was not like that we left like best friends.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
We had a good time.
Yeah. So
And
anyway.
we knew that we could travel well together.
Yeah. Yeah. But at that time, I didn't even have a goal of qualifying for Boston. Like that goal came after that, like right after that.
Yeah. Because it was a half marathon, and I was just amazed that you were just not nervous for a half marathon.
Yeah.
I mean, you still walked like 20,000 steps a day.
Yeah. And what was great is we don't like museums. We like all the same things. Yep. All we did was just fitness. And then, walk probably around. What I learned the most about you on that trip was how much you could eat.
I can eat, guys.
The first meal we had, and she's like, are you not going to eat the rest of that? I don't mind eating after you at all here. So now I'm just like, here, do you want this?
Oh, yeah. I will eat after you.
Like,
and I
this
just
girl right
finish
here,
her plate.
she can eat.
I can eat.
But yeah, so that was New York. And then, here's what's funny too. We did not even talk in New York about any kind of business collaboration. I feel like it's just God's goodness. Like we talked about what I was doing in business, but there was no talk of us doing anything together in New York. And it really wasn't until so that was in March. And then April, May, we just kind of like texted every day. Yeah. Like just, but loosely, like not, But then I decided that I wanted to try to qualify for Boston. And so about probably April is when I was like, hey, I found this race, Duluth, Minnesota, grandma's, and it's a good qualifier. Would you want to go with me? Mm-hmm. And you were like, I'll go anywhere with you again. Yep. And I was like, okay, good. And then like in 5 minutes, I was like, hey,
yes.
Would you want to run the half in Duluth? And I was like, okay, well, I've already signed you up.
Yes. She found a bib online, didn't
It was
you?
a transfer. Yes, a bib transfer. It just happened to be the window that we could do with a transfer. And so we started planning for that trip, which was the end of June. We had like 9 weeks.
Because I was already signed up for a half marathon, but it was the one that we ran in October.
Because in New York, we did decide, hey, we should get you signed up for a half. And we were going to travel with our husbands and another friend and go to Maine. Yes. So we did kind of talk about that and figure it out.
That in there. And so she knew that because I was training for the Fresh 15, which a 15K was the longest I ever ran in March of last year.
Yeah.
And I remember telling her like at camp or something, I was like, okay, my program wouldn't let me train right now for
24
marathon.
weeks,
yes. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to do, what did I say? Like July or something?
You were just going to do a half in July.
In July. I was going to, I'm going to run it a half in July. So I'm going to be ready for this because I like to be ready. And so she knew that. And then she's like, I think you can be ready now. Let's do it in June.
Like, if you can do it in July, you can do it in June.
You can do it in June.
So let's sign up.
Yep.
So we had our next trip planned. And then I actually think what kind of moved the needle was I had talked to you loosely about, hey, you should be doing something training-wise, coaching-wise at Grace Wellness. And then you were still like really not committal about it at all. And then Lance came in to see me as a patient.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
He was like, we got to talk to Christy. I like your idea. And I was like, you are so right. And I came in my office and I was like, I just talked to Lance and and so literally that's when we started talking about you breaking barriers to Grace Wellness. It was like May.
Yeah.
And if you follow Grace Wellness, we're about to move into a new building. And we actually had y'all come look at that with us, really just because Lance knows stuff about construction and whatnot. And we were talking about that. And I was like, Christy, just drive to my current office and let me show you where your office could be.
Yeah.
And she still was like half mad about it. Like she was fighting with God a little bit about it. I literally remember going, you know what? I can decorate your office. I can do all the things, but I cannot want it more than you. So I told myself, I'm just going to step back and she's going to have to do the next thing. I am not going to do it all for her.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. It was just like, I was like, okay, do I want to add one more thing to it?
Yeah, because you had a lot of different things going on.
Never did I see where I'd be at right now. Only Grace Wellness.
I think you just saw it as one more thing.
I just saw it as one more thing.
Yeah.
Because I was doing reselling, I was doing CG. I don't know if I was doing online training. But that's what I thought of it as one more thing.
Yeah. But I saw it as, I know all these people that need what you have to offer.
Yeah.
And
see, I didn't see that. I see it now.
Oh, yeah. But
yeah.
I think you also, we've said this in podcasts, that you need a friend that has goals that are bigger than yours, or at least will support you and believe in your goals. And that totally was me in that situation. And role reversal, you can be that person for me too. It's funny because, we can have imposter syndrome about ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to see what you're capable of, and you need somebody else to.
But your gift is also visionary.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can come up with some amazing ideas, and you see things differently. And I'm more of an executor. I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah, but I just have to get you on board. The buy-in sometimes is slow. But anyway, we slowly, we kind of said, okay, you already had breaking barriers before, and we're going to implement this. And really, you're just going to house in Grace Wellness, because I have patients that need you. And so it was still kind of a slow start.
It was.
But you started helping people, and then we had grandmas coming up. And we introduced you on social media and did a lunch intro at the end of May.
Yep.
And then, I really think where more of our partnership was built was at Grandma's. So at the end of June, we went to Grandma's. And our friendship grew so much on that trip.
Yeah.
Because we knew each other better.
Yeah.
We were getting to know each other better. And I thought about this when I was thinking about this podcast. Another reason that it grew is because you saw my ugly, it was a bonked race. You saw me laying on the bed crying.
Yeah, I know. I know. I don't do well with that, guys. I don't know what to do in those situations.
Yeah, but I remember sitting there in that VRBO talking about what our partnership looked like and what we could do.
The nutrition
and we
course
talked about a nutrition course, and we're going to do some lunch and learns and
everything.
Yeah. And then it was when we got back from that trip and the lunch and learn started that you actually told me at the end of, you probably know the month, I think it was June or July, when you had some radical obedience and you quit. Was that July?
I don't know when that was.
Okay, well, it was a lunch and learn, because we did a lunch and learn, so it was right around that time.
It was right around that time?
Yeah, it was that time, because we did a lunch and learn, and then at the end, you said, I quit my full-time CG job this
that's
morning.
right. I told you.
Yes.
I told you before I told Lance.
Yes.
I was convicted one morning reading a devotional, and I was a leader with Camp Gladiator, leading people, and I was not doing the job. I was receiving a pay, and I was not doing the job to my
because your
ability.
Heart just wasn't there anymore.
Not there anymore. And I literally, in 30 minutes, without even consulting my husband, who this would stress out, I emailed the leaders, and I texted the VP, and I said, I am resigning. I'm done. And it felt so good, but it was crazy. I had to do it immediately. I could not get it off my heart. And it was one of the best decisions I made. And Lance did not. I did. When I told him, because I did it before talking to my husband. It was it's not the ideal way to do it, but when God says do something,
it was just you were so burdened. Yeah, you were so burdened.
And I remember I talked to you, and you were like, you have got to tell him tonight. I was like, I know. I'm trying to figure this out. Just because, we are building houses and doing things and just trying to build our retirement plan and build wealth. And I just don't want to stress him out by losing money and taking money away. And you said, you got to tell him tonight. I was like, I'll tell him tomorrow. And I remember going home, and I was just, again, burdened. And I broke down just asking him for forgiveness. And he accepted it. Amazing. He was great. He loves me unconditionally. But it was when the next day, Caitlin made the announcement on Facebook about getting my position.
Yeah.
So he would have found out that way.
Yeah.
Again, God cares about the details.
God cares about the details. But you know, the way I look at it is you have to take the first step to obey, and then the Lord provides the next. You didn't know how that was going to look.
Not
you
at
had
all.
no clue.
None.
You had no clue. And so we have referenced that radical obedience in our friendship more than once, because we always want to be sensitive to the prompting of the Holy Spirit and to obey.
100%.
So
100%.
yeah,
That is very important in our lives.
yeah. So the summers also when we started meeting on Saturdays for
She won, guys.
our Holly
She
Tree
won.
run, because we were preparing for Grandma's, and I was like, hey, meet me at Holly Tree. Like, just meet me at Holly Tree. And
But you were already running Holly Tree. How long
was just
have you been
running
running Holly
alone.
Tree Saturday mornings?
I mean, probably a year. Yeah.
Wow.
A year. And you know, I thought about this when I was writing this. So the first time we just ran, and then we just said bye to each other. And then the second time was my birthday. I was like, hey, let's have coffee afterwards.
Yeah.
And we've like missed what, 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, and for weather only.
Yeah, or weather travel. So it's like an anchor in our week now
It is.
that we do our long run. Not always together, but you know, sometimes we just bounce around in the same area, and then sit and have coffee.
Yep.
And you know what? Like, even though we didn't need friends, it is so sweet, right? Because we talk business, but we talk life. We encourage
talk
each other. We know the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yep. Amen.
And so, you know, that's just a good reminder. Like, you need those people in your life.
Yeah. It is. It is that consistency, and it just strengthens our friendship, because now, especially now, that Saturday morning coffee is so important and special, because now we are both working full time. Well, I am working full time now at Grace Wellness, and we see each other just through the halls. Or I don't see her at all, because my door's always shut. You know, and it'd be hard to build, because that is important to us. To build in our lives, in our relationship, and to hold each other accountable, share our goals, do everything in life together, without that talk.
Yeah.
Because it is that one time that we're not rushed.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know, there's a deadline, but we spend an hour or two just having coffee.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, I'm shaking and we're having rigor mortis, but we're still outside, guys.
Because even when we've traveled, I'm like, oh, I'm excited for tomorrow. Just normal coffee, normal Saturday run.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so much has been built in those little coffee
100%.
at that picnic table at Fresh.
Yep.
So, but key here too is that, you know, God blesses obedience. God's in the details. You were obedient. You went to a conference that was completely outside your comfort zone.
100%.
And, or, you know, I asked the person to sit with me. I had no.
I know. Because you're an introvert too.
Yeah. We're like extroverted introverts. So I'm
Yes.
extroverted at work, but I want to be alone.
Yes, I am an outgoing introvert.
Yeah. And, you know, you had a kind of a friend group that had dissolved a little bit just because of a season and people moving. And, you know, so the Lord just knows what you need.
I have. Yeah.
So.
It was unreal. So next is
Yeah. So anyway, then we went on multiple trips, but we also, it was probably around, we went to Boston, qualified. That was a great trip. Went to Maine with our families, and then really like breaking barriers became Grace Wellness, you know, like through that, through the late part of the year, that we're like, everything kind of, it just was an evolution of how it grew.
Yeah. I mean, because we have ideas and we implemented the ideas and we executed them well and they were successful, but then we see something better.
Yeah.
And we executed that.
Yeah.
And just like we always say, we really don't know what it's going to be like next year.
Right. We don't, because
we're just trying to be faithful and listen.
Yeah.
How can God use me to help your patients?
Yeah.
That's truly the answer that we need to answer. The question we need to answer.
Yeah.
And
so I think really like December, we were talking about, okay, our goal is we're going to do this merger because we see how it can be beneficial for you to provide nutrition and training and life coaching at Grace Wellness and not really be breaking barriers. Like you're always going to be breaking barriers, but you know, a bigger role here more.
Yeah.
And then I feel like Vegas was such a good goal setting. Like we just sat there and talked about like what the Lord had done, what our goals were, and really had clarity on that trip.
Yeah, Vegas was a lot, because Vegas, we also even talked about a lot about Grit and Grace and this podcast, and lined out the podcast. And we talked a lot.
Yeah.
We
But
talked
anyway,
a lot about business and goals.
We had goals to do a partnership with regenerative therapies, and then goals that, hey, you were like, okay, I think I'm ready to quit being an outdoor trainer.
I know.
And I pushed you a little bit on that. Like, what's your timeline?
I know. And then I was like, I don't know what Lance is going to say.
Yeah.
It's always about him, because I was ready. I knew that my heart just was not in it any longer, just because I saw the impact that I could make here.
Yeah.
And if I could put more hours here helping people, not that CG doesn't need me, but my impact is larger here.
Yeah.
And I can help more people with my personality, my drive, my discipline, my history, my story, my sobriety, my everything, you know, and just the fact that we are so aligned on everything, that I trust you to give good guidance for them as patients, and you trust me to give them good guidance on health and nutrition.
Yeah.
You know, and so when you have that type of partnership, I mean, it's the full deal.
Yeah.
And that's what we both believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, we're now implementing exactly what we believe in, is, you know, you need the medical side, but you also need the fitness and nutrition side. You need both of them to be optimized.
Yeah. And I think it's just like God's goodness, because we could work together here at Grace Wellness. We could have Grit and Grace, our podcast that we started nearly a year ago.
Yep.
And we could be completely aligned and just be like business partners. But it's just like God's goodness that we're best friends.
I know.
Right?
That is true.
Because we have fitness, we have work, we have our walk with the Lord. We have so many things in common.
So many. I mean, our saying is 1 + 1.
Yeah.
I mean, like for example, I did red light today, right before lunch, and she did red light this morning. Okay, like there's so many podcasts to listen to in this world. And so she comes in while I'm finishing up my red light, and she hears the podcast, and she's like, oh, I listened to that same podcast when I got into the red light. Like, we listened to the same podcast.
Yeah, and she's like, how far did you get? I said, exactly how far you got, because it was 15 minutes.
Because it was a 15-minute, you know? And it's just like things like that. Like on the trip to Boston that we just did for the Boston Marathon, you know, I can look at her and I'm like, yep, I know what she's thinking right now. You know, and it is, I've never had that type of friendship.
Yeah.
Where, like, we are so much alike.
Yeah.
But we're also different.
Yeah.
We're different, because I obsess about weather. You don't obsess about weather.
Yeah.
You know.
You're a grandma. I have a 5-year-old.
I'm a grandma. Yes. We are in different stages of life. But yeah, it's crazy. It is absolutely insane. So, but it is about. It's like I told a client today. You have got to be faithful into what God is doing in your life. And you have got to listen to him and have that walk with him and have that relationship with him so that you hear his voice. Because I have a client today who is, I think she's like 65. And she is just on this health journey. She says, I'm tired of settling. I'm tired of not putting myself first. And I told her, I was like, you need to be ready and put yourself first and be selfish right now, because right now she's single, her children are grown. And I was like, because you don't know what life's going to give you. There may be an adventure in your future. I was like, because a year ago, I didn't think I was going to get on a plane with Bethany 7 times. But here I am now running half marathons.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't know.
Right.
And so if you are not putting yourself as a priority, fitness-wise, you can't say yes to things. We wouldn't be best friends if I wasn't in fitness.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And if I wasn't walking with the Lord every morning and being committed to my relationship with him and devoted to spending time with him every morning, why would I want to go to Thrive?
Right.
I mean, so many things are aligning you to God's will for your best for
That's
your
right.
for the best life.
That's right. The path. That's so true. And I think one of the biggest things that I have taken from it, because we are doers and we're capable, right? Like we can do it on our own.
Yes.
Is that even though you're capable and you can do it on your own and you can do it alone, that the Lord can give such a good gift in a friendship for somebody that will pray for you, that will sharpen you, that will hold you accountable. You know, when I'm over here tripping, falling apart, you're like, here's the wisdom. Here's what you need to do. And then vice versa. And so I think we've just seen like the Lord's goodness in that, you know what? Yes, you were capable of doing it alone, but I know what's best for you.
I agree.
And I just never want to forget like his faithfulness and the fact that like it's a gift that he gave lavishly that we didn't need. We didn't think we needed.
Neither of us needed. But now we can't imagine.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is kind of a vulnerable podcast. It gave you a little insight on like how our friendship was born and how our partnership was born, and you know, those small steps of obedience that God multiplies that, and it compounds just like our consistency in the gym or running compounds. That it's all the Lord.
It is,
and it's like a stone of remembrance that we want to go back to. It's part of our testimony. You know.
But it's also like last year, our word for 2025 was obey, and we kept that word because it means something to us, because we see that our obedience, what it has brought to our lives, and now it's obey and build, and it is obeying God and trusting Him to build something out of our obedience. Not even knowing what it is. But we just wanted to share with you guys that when you decide to obey God, it's just being faithful. It is just giving your life to Him and just saying, I will do. I will go, and He is your Father. He loves you. And it's just like, you know, for your children and my children and everything, we want the best for them.
Right.
And it's the same. So.
Yeah. It's sweet and humbling.
Sweet and humbling, my friend.
That's right.
Guys, thank you so much for spending time with us on Grit and Grace Podcast. If this episode spoke to you, please like, share, and follow us on all platforms. And as you head back into your life, choose to pursue it with strength, faith, and intention, a life marked with both grit and grace.